Part 2 of the definitive guide to anti-woke and pro-free speech YouTube channels. This video is the follow-up to Part 1, in which I reviewed 62 anti-woke and pro-free speech channels. You can watch Part 1 via the link in this video's description. However, assuming you've watched it already, in this video, Part 2, I will be introducing a further 70 channels, bringing the total number of anti-woke and pro-free speech channels I've reviewed to 132. I felt it was necessary to do a Part 2, as it's important to build this movement up, and connecting audiences with creators is a key step in achieving that, particularly in an era where tech giants are censoring creators, taking down videos, and shadow and outright banning channels. I also recognise that audiences have different tastes and preferences, so a mix of content is key to engage the maximum number of people. Before I go into these 70 channels, however, I will offer the same disclaimers as on Part 1. Number 1. I haven't watched every video produced by these channels. Some channels have thousands of videos, for example. So if any of the videos portray viewpoints that are foolish, crazy, or in poor taste, then I am in no way responsible for that. 2. I have broken content down into 4 categories and assigned channels to the most relevant category. In some cases, a channel might straddle 2 or more categories, so in that case, I have chosen the one that fits best. The 4 categories are 1. Talk shows and interviews. 2. Current affairs and political commentary. 3. Comedy and entertainment. And 4. Philosophy and cultural analysis. And you can jump forward to each by using the timestamps in the video. Number 3. I'm a big believer in supporting alt-tech platforms like Rumble and Odyssey, to name a few. So where possible, I recommend watching content on those platforms as it helps to build them up as viable long-term alternatives to YouTube. However, there is an argument to be made that even though YouTube is antagonistic to us, it's still worth posting there as we can reach more people who need to hear our message. Number 4. This is a wide church, and I know if you're, say, libertarian, you may not also be anti-woke, or if you're anti-woke, you may not necessarily be conservative, and the list goes on. Also, the anti-woke segment could come not just from the right, but also from the centre or the non-authoritarian left. Number 5. The purpose of this video is not to provide a thorough review of these channels, nor is it to be critical. I am supportive of the good work all these creators put in, and whether or not it's something I'd personally watch, I'm only going to focus on the positives for each channel. So, in summary, just visit the channels that pique your interest, spread the word about them, and hopefully it's the start of a long and fruitful engagement between you and the respective channel. Let's begin. Number 1. Talk shows and interviews. Zuby is an English rapper, author, and podcaster. His YouTube channel hosts the video version of his weekly Real Talk with Zuby podcast. Zuby is on the right and hosts many conservative and libertarian guests. Often the topics discussed include politics, society, and the impact of wokeism and the left on our culture. Zuby is a thoughtful and attentive interviewer with a down-to-earth manner, and he might just be the only rapper out there with a degree from Oxford University. Check him out. The New Culture Forum is a conservative think tank in Britain that is, in their words, challenging the cultural orthodoxies dominant in our institutions, public life, and wider culture. By orthodoxies, they of course mean the woke and the left. This is an interesting channel producing thoughtful, quality content and featuring interesting guests from academia, media, and politics. It is a buttoned-up, suited style of programming, so will suit, excuse the pun, those who appreciate a sophisticated or well-mannered approach to discussing the ongoing culture war. Having said that, they don't pull their punches, it's just those punches are delivered in a velvet glove. Benjamin A. Boyce provides commentary and interviews a wide range of guests on subjects like politics, society, and the culture war. He has a unique style in that he is a calm, soft-spoken, bespectacled man who looks and sounds like a liberal librarian but is anything but. It is this contrast of his appearance and manner with his content and views that gives him his charm and appeal. You can also tell that he has given a lot of thought to the positions he holds and the insights he shares. So if you like an intelligent, interesting and toned down style, then check Benjamin out. Blonde in the Belly of the Beast. Rebecca conducts interviews with conservative and right-wing guests on topics like culture, politics, family and life in general. She's great at getting her guests to relax and open up, which of course helps make the conversations more interesting. She comes across as an intelligent, honest and authentic person with strong values. What you see is what you get with her, which is refreshing. Peter Boghossian. Peter is a doctor of education and former assistant professor who resigned his post at his university due to lack of intellectual freedom. He's focused on exposing the woke takeover of universities, education, the media, HR departments and more, and is committed to restoring free speech and open inquiry in universities and society. In his videos, he conducts often illuminating interviews with students at universities across the US. He comes across as a learned, open-minded and fair man who challenges students to examine their beliefs and values more closely in order to get at the truth. Sitch and Adam Show. Sitch and Adam run an interview and commentary show focused mainly on internet politics. Their guests are often fellow YouTubers and content creators from a range of political persuasions. They themselves are centrists or even centre-left, but are strongly anti-woke. Their style is very informal and off the cuff, and their live streams can be mind-bogglingly long, think up to 12 hours. If you're into the online political scene and online mini-feuds between creators, then this one is for you. Auron MacIntyre. Auron interviews a range of interesting political commentators and also posts his own solo essay-style pieces on politics and society. He's an intelligent and analytical guy who can break down sometimes complex subjects and make them accessible to a layman audience. His interview style leans very much toward listening rather than talking, which means the focus is more on his guests and their views and arguments. There are some channels you watch to validate your views and others you watch to learn and think about things differently, and this channel falls into that latter camp. Bret Weinstein is an evolutionary biologist who in his Dark Horse podcast on YouTube interviews guests and holds discussions about science, politics, religion and more. Whilst being centre-left, he is surprisingly open-minded and is no fan of woke ideology or of censoring people and ideas. He comes across as a highly intelligent, reasonable-minded and deep-thinking individual whose discussions, though often intellectual and sophisticated, remain interesting and accessible. There's also an overall optimism about him, which is quite contagious. If you want to challenge yourself intellectually, check him out. Alex Stein. This guy is either crazy or courageous or both. He's also very funny. Alex confronts hypocritical politicians, delivers ridiculous speeches at city council meetings, exposes woke depravity at public events, and also hosts a live stream show where he shares his off-the-cuff political commentary. If you're looking for some zany and original conservative entertainment, check him out. James Klug. James bills his channel as honest, conservative political commentary and entertainment. Most of his videos are street interviews with members of the public where he shows the inconsistencies in and ignorance of the views of the woke and the left. His videos are amusing, but also make you wonder if there is hope for society when there are so many ignorant people out there. James has a manner and style that gets ordinary people to trust him enough to say what they think, and he does a great service by giving us a window into that. Fleccas Talks is a podcast/talk show hosted by Austin Fletcher and his sidekick, Richard Ratboy, on which they talk about political and cultural news and developments. It is also billed as the best new podcast of all time, by themselves, of course. These guys are genuinely funny and entertaining, using sarcasm to maximum effect. They are politically incorrect and couldn't give a fudge about it. If you like talk shows, ditch the lame, woke propaganda ones on TV and check out these guys. The Crigler Show. Adam is a skateboarder, amateur musician, and former co-host on Tim Pool's show. He interviews a range of guests about life and politics in his relaxed and laid-back style. Although, his videos are less interview, more informal chats. Common themes for these chats include freedom of speech and woke antics. I'm Doing Great, the podcast. Mike and Gina host this interview show on YouTube where they bring on guests to talk about culture and politics. Both are right-wing in their views and decidedly anti-woke and anti-elite. They also have a good dynamic with guests and complement each other well. The somewhat relaxed vibe of their show, mixed with their underlying convictions, creates an interesting mix. Number 2. Current affairs and political commentary. Rebel News is a conservative current affairs and news channel focusing on Canadian politics. Their aim is to challenge the manufactured mainstream media narrative by looking at the other side of the story. They receive no corporate or government funding, so are truly independent. Their channel has a range of shows with different hosts, each sharing their take on the shenanigans of the political establishment. The comment section with Brett Cooper. Brett provides a fresh and engaging commentary on viral content and news, focusing mainly on politics and entertainment. Brett is in her 20s, yet possesses more common sense than most mainstream media pundits, 2 to 3 times her age. She launched her channel in January of 2022 and has already amassed 566,000 subscribers and counting, which shows the sky is a limit for her. She recently joined Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire and is a much-needed conservative voice for her fellow Gen Zers. Actual Justice Warrior. First off, let's acknowledge the name of this channel, which is a nice play on words. The host is Sean Fitzgerald, who provides reactions to and commentary on the news and current events. He's usually criticising the woke and the left in his accessible, opinionated, yet informed style. In short, he's a great warrior to have on our side. Avi Yemini is the chief correspondent for Rebel News in Australia. He's a loud, funny, brash guy who's mostly on the road interviewing regular Australians, as well as chasing down and grilling authority and establishment figures and leftist idiots. His content is political in nature and is firmly anti-woke and pro-free speech. If you're in Australia and enjoy a lively, in-your-face style of content, Avi is your man. Reasoned is a UK-focused youth channel that aims to challenge the pervasive left-wing and woke narrative. The two young hosts, Jess Gill and Darren Grimes, provide commentary on current affairs and politics, as well as conduct impromptu street interviews with members of the public. They approach things from a libertarian conservative perspective and bring their youthful energy and passion to the subjects they explore. This is a good one for UK Gen Zers. We Got a Problem. The host of this channel provides commentary on British politics. His videos are short and sweet, with a voiceover that sounds like a monotone robot with an English accent. One for those keen on quick takes on current political shenanigans. Daisy Cousens. Daisy is a political and cultural commentator who, as she says, is taking up the call to fight for Western civilization with flair, style, and incredible sass. Daisy is quite the character. She brings a sense of fun, humour, and energy to her videos, which are, of course, completely anti-woke. Being Australian, she is direct and sarcastic, yet simultaneously eloquent. Worth checking out. Sydney Watson. Sydney is an Australian political commentator who now resides in Texas. Her popular videos focus on the culture war, including LGBTQIA, the alphabet thing, censorship, and general woke insanity. Well, I guess those last 2 words are synonymous. She brings her unique and entertaining style to her videos and makes no apologies for her moral and political stances. She comes at this from a traditional conservative perspective and is firmly pro-freedom. One has to admire her passion, fire, and dedication to the cause. Check her out. Blaire White. Blaire is a conservative trans female. She, or he, is clearly doing something right, as they have over 1 million subscribers. Blaire provides amusing commentary on woke antics in society and is a good example that some trans people can be sensible, level-headed people when they're not infected with the woke virus, of course. Blaire is funny, intelligent, and quick-witted and brings colour to the genre of anti-woke commentary. Charlie Kirk is the founder and president of Turning Point USA, a conservative youth activist organisation with over 250,000 members. Charlie is a dynamo and go-getter who tours around the US running events, giving speeches, and holding debates that promote conservative values, including freedom of speech. His channel hosts excerpts from his events, usually of him laying the smackdown on some woke fool, or else sharing useful insights and tactics with fellow conservatives. He also has a commentary show / podcast, which he posts excerpts from. Odins Men. His tagline is on point. It's, "What you think, but don't say in public. I got you." Odin, if I can call him that, is the voice of the silent majority. He provides his common sense, logical, down-to-earth commentary on the woke madness from all across the internet. He's also a former US Marine, so he walks the walk and talks the talk. Odin isn't looking to score points in his videos, he's just saying what your typical Joe or Jane is thinking when they see this crazy stuff. Check him out. Doc Rich runs a political commentary show where he analyzes video clips from the internet and shares his takes on them. He's a big fan of Thomas Sowell, as am I, and the influence of Sowell is evident in his commentary. Doc is a likable guy with a casual and down-to-earth style, and his videos will appeal to those who appreciate a smart and more centrist / independent voice. Ex-British Army Paz 49 talks. That's a mouthful. Paz 49 is a conservative libertarian, born in Wales but made in Britain, as he says, and is a free speech advocate and social commentator. His commentary is focused on Britain and the actions of the woke and far left. He sounds like a reasonable, middle-of-the-road citizen who performs his civic duty and doesn't take himself too seriously. He keeps things relatively positive and matter-of-fact, and his channel is a good way to catch up on woke-related news in the UK. Disaffected Podcast. Here's a short excerpt from the channel description. We are in an abusive relationship with the social justice left. Today's leftist activists use the same tools as abusive families. They keep us in fear while we wonder if we've lost our minds. And it goes on. Joshua Slocum runs this weekly show where he presents special interest stories on culture and politics, but through a psychological lens. As a former leftist, he is in a great position to attack their ideology and actions, and he does so in a very articulate, clear, and no beating around the bush way. His style is quite unique and is a mix of hard-hitting current affairs host mixed with serious political commentator with a dash of firebrand. His channel started just 1 year ago, and I predict bigger things for him in the future. Sav Says. Savannah Hernandez is an independent right-wing reporter who has travelled America to cover stories the mainstream media refuses to truthfully report on, like the BLM riots, illegal immigration, and the LGBT agenda. She is fiery, passionate, and bold in her commentary and reporting, and really goes for the jugular of the woke and the corrupt establishment. For lively and engaging US political commentary, check her out. RuinedLeon. Leon shares his no-nonsense commentary on current events in America, mainly focusing on anything with a woke angle, of which there is no shortage, of course. He publishes a couple of videos per week, which he keeps relatively succinct and apolitical. He is neither liberal nor conservative. For those that like a casual, irreverent, and youth-oriented style, Leon is your guy. Jeff Taylor. Jeff's channel is dedicated to political and economic commentary and news about the UK and the EU. His videos are very short, matter-of-fact, and delivered in a deadpan news reporter style. This one suits those who want to quickly catch up on the news and who like their commentary minus the fluff. Viva Frei is a Canadian lawyer, former political candidate for the People's Party of Canada, and now full-time YouTube commentator. His videos focus on political current affairs in the US and Canada, and he provides comprehensive commentary on this in daily live streams. Viva, real name David, is quite a character. He's lively and likeable, knowledgeable, and of course has the wildest hairstyle of any creator on this list. If you're into the nitty-gritty of politics, then this channel is for you. Jason Whitlock is a Christian American who espouses traditional values and who uses faith to guide his cultural and political commentary. He comes across as the kind of guy who doesn't compromise what he believes in and speaks things as he sees them. He explicitly focuses his message towards black people in America and on what they need to do to better themselves, and he of course goes after the woke and the left who are dismantling Christian values. If faith and traditionalism are your thing, check him out. Salty Cracker provides commentary on the US political landscape. He's a former special education teacher, liberal, and Obama supporter who saw the error of his ways and, to make up for his past life, now shares his anti-woke views on YouTube. His style is informal, irreverent, and amusing, this is one for those into US politics. Count Dankula 2, Electric Boogaloo. This is Count Dankula's second YouTube channel, where he shares his thoughts and feelings on news and current affairs. His commentary is good-natured, down-to-earth, a little cheeky, and usually grounded in common sense. He takes aim at the woke and the left, of course, and defends freedom of speech, himself having been arrested and convicted for telling an offensive joke. If you want some light-hearted entertainment delivered by a lad with a strong Scottish accent, then check him out. Crossroads with Joshua Philipp. Joshua is an investigative journalist who covers news, politics, culture, and more. Joshua looks and dresses like your typical journalist, but unlike his counterparts who are spreading fake news, he is reporting facts. He is measured and articulate in his approach, covers a good range of topics, and will suit those looking for a journalistic or news style of content. Larry Elder highlights. Larry is a conservative talk show host, author, and former Republican candidate for governor of California. He has also described himself as a libertarian. His channel is focused on US political commentary, delivered with the clarity, detail, and good-naturedness he is known for. Black Conservative Perspective. The channel name says it all. The perspective shared is on the antics of the woke in politics, education, media, etc. His commentary is rooted in common sense, he posts regularly, and it's a good way to keep abreast of woke-related news. Liz Wheeler. In her own words, this show shines a floodlight on the shadows cast by the mainstream media, illuminating what they don't want you to see, and elucidating their murky motives along the way. Liz is unapologetically pro-free speech and anti-woke, and shares her fiery and informed commentary on the culture war and politics. She exudes both an air of moral clarity and a will to fight for what she believes in, which is great to see. This is one for US conservative viewers who appreciate an independent and uncompromising voice who shares their values. Alison Morrow is a former TV news reporter who left to run her own podcast and channel focusing on current affairs. She often has guests on who shun the mainstream media narratives and challenge the status quo. Her approach is very journalistic and her style is professional and inquisitive. This channel is for those looking for a non-biased look at the news. Devin Gibson. Devin shares his opinions on news, politics, faith, and music. His content includes commentary as well as reaction videos. What stands out about Devin is he is a good-natured, light-hearted, reasonable guy who likes to have fun with his videos. He's less about attacking people or their ideology and more about discussing the better alternatives, which include liberty, faith, and common sense. Black Conservative Patriot. His channel description says it best. Freedom and liberty are colourblind. The only colours we care about here are red, white, and blue. This channel provides conservative/libertarian commentary on news and current affairs. The host is matter-of-fact, personable, and knowledgeable. For no-frills coverage of politics, BCP is your man. Number 3. Comedy and entertainment. It's a Gundam. Provides amusing commentary on pop culture, gaming, movies, TV, and celebrities. He focuses on exposing the woke antics and hypocrisy prevalent in these spheres, and does so in a cynical and snide way. His videos are lively and well edited, and are for those seeking some casual entertainment. Bearing is an Australian dude who provides funny commentary on current events and stupid people, aka the woke. Typical of Australian humour, he pulls no punches, uses profanity freely, and lays on the sarcasm. If you want to have a laugh at the expense of leftist idiots while simultaneously catching up on pop culture news, then check it out. Alex Belfield, also known as the Voice of Reason, is a radio presenter and entertainer who covers daily news and topical content with his trademark energy, wit, and bluntness. He cleverly lampoons the woke in many of his videos, and I think he embodies the spirit and views of the everyman and woman in Britain. You can count on him to tell things as they are, whilst having fun doing it. Isaac Smith does short reaction videos to current events and woke shenanigans. His videos often have no or little dialogue and rely more on his facial expressions and reactions. In addition to being amusing, this simple format works well to get the message across quickly. Isaac himself is a conservative Christian who conveys a solid sense of morality and common sense. Young Ripper 59. Eric July shares his direct, no BS commentary on woke stupidity in pop culture, entertainment, gaming, comics, and politics. He's also the frontman for a metal band called Backwards, where he sings, amongst other things, about liberty. His style is informal and colloquial. He shuns politeness, which is part of his appeal, and he's very knowledgeable on many of the topics he covers, particularly comics. Watching his channel creates a vibe of chilling at home on a Saturday night. Freedom Tunes makes funny and original political cartoons from a conservative perspective. The cartoons are short and sweet and always on point. The creator does a terrific job of highlighting what's going on in politics and society, not just making it entertaining, but also imparting a valuable message in each episode. In short, you'll have laughs and learn something. Check it out. Drone Tech. This channel is dedicated to exposing leftist media pretending to be objective journalism. It does this with amusing clips and commentary designed to both entertain and inform. The host is very passionate and animated, while still maintaining a humorous air about him, which gives his videos a somewhat light-hearted feel. This isn't a bad thing and provides a contrast to some of the heavier, more serious commentary out there. Common Sense Soapbox produces short, animated comedy videos on trending political issues and does so from a classical liberal or libertarian perspective. The videos usually feature the main character, Seamus, who represents liberty and reason, imparting some lesson on economics or politics to his clueless liberal counterpart. Libertarians may like this one. Leo Kearse is a right-wing Scottish comedian who lambasts the woke in his pull-no-punches style. He mixes smart commentary with solid humour, covering topical issues in culture and entertainment. He also performs at stand-up venues around the UK. A good channel for those who value free speech in comedy. Some Black Guy, as he says, is just some black guy that brings critical thinking and comedy to the table. Derek comes across as politically independent and applies his common sense to the madness engulfing society, with a particular focus on woke antics on the internet and social media. He is a down-to-earth guy who likes to have a bit of fun in his commentary and who keeps it real. Number 4. Philosophy and Cultural Analysis. Academy of Ideas. These two brothers from Canada explore the ideas of famous philosophers, psychologists, and economists. Their tagline is "Free minds for a free society," and their stated goal is to further the spread of knowledge and freedom. This channel is very much for the philosophically inclined amongst you. The content is the kind you'd find in a university philosophy course. However, these guys keep it succinct and interesting. This channel gives the viewer the opportunity to slow down, zoom out, or zoom in depending on how you look at it, and see life and society from an enlarged perspective. New Discourses. This channel's tagline is "Pursuing the light of objective truth in subjective darkness." The channel is apolitical, it endorses no political stance, however, it does focus on dissecting and critiquing the current woke and Marxist tyranny, particularly in the field of education. The style of this channel is intellectual, and the host, David Lindsay, has a calm, logical, and relaxed approach to arguing his point. If you're interested in a philosophical and nuanced approach to the subject of wokeism, then this one is for you. Academic Agent. As the name implies, is an academic, unapologetically so, who shares his thoughts and analysis on politics, economics, current affairs, culture, and philosophy. He is a highly original thinker, has a great breadth of knowledge, and possesses the rare skill of being very thorough and detailed in his analysis, whilst never descending into waffle, as many academics do. He is instead very clear and to the point. If you want to be challenged in your thinking and explore more deeply the underlying realities of Western politics and society, then this channel is recommended. Bjorn Andreas Bull-Hansen is a novelist and outdoorsman from Norway. He spends a lot of time in the Norwegian wilderness, which is where he shoots his monologues covering social and economic issues, as well as bushcraft and prepping, which makes quite the interesting mix. He's anti-establishment, promotes ideas of freedom, and brings a fresh style and take on the topics he discusses. Think of him like a mild-mannered, philosophically inclined, modern-day Viking. The Distributist. He says it best in his words. This is a channel to explore the problems of modernity, the issues of our late political and economic order, and the need for spirituality and truth. The Distributist publishes a mix of monologues, interviews, and very long live streams covering the aforementioned topic areas. His style is somewhat intellectual and wordy, though still accessible, so if you're into that, this is for you. Morgoth's Review. As Morgoth says, he's just a northern bloke, north of England that is, pontificating on a crazy world. Morgoth publishes video essays on the decline of Western culture and civilization. He shuns political correctness and says things as he sees them. He's thoughtful in his analysis and comes across as a salt-of-the-earth type guy and everyman philosopher, deeply rooted in common sense. His channel is less about entertaining and more about giving you something to think about. Endeavour is a right-wing video maker who discusses politics, culture, history and philosophy. His videos are mostly video essays and the occasional conversation with other right-wing creators. His content is insightful and well thought out and focuses on the bigger picture and broader trends in Western society. He delivers his message in a calm, measured, articulate and engaging way. This channel is for those who want to slow down and ponder our current challenges more deeply. David Starkey Talks. Dr. Starkey is a famous British historian and radio and TV presenter. He was bestowed with a CBE in 2007, which is an honorary award bestowed by the Queen for contributions to the arts and sciences. He was also once called the rudest man in Britain. Despite that, Dr. Starkey is both genial and very knowledgeable, and his videos include commentaries and features on history, but also videos attacking wokeism and examining the troubling trajectory of the West. He's 77 years old now, but has some valuable insights and perspectives that us younger generations would benefit from hearing. Ubersoy is a self-described cultural right-winger who talks about culture, politics and psychology. I'd describe him as smart, thorough and nuanced in his approach. His videos are consistently interesting and good food for thought. He also isn't afraid to be guided by the facts and thus present ideas that his audience might disagree with, which is the mark of a worthy creator. If you appreciate a more sophisticated style of content, check him out. The Britisher. The host of this channel comes across as an English centrist and moderate, who is strongly anti-woke and whose views and values likely represent those of many typical middle-class English living outside metropolitan London. His videos are commentaries on current events, essay-style pieces breaking down different aspects of wokeism, and the occasional satire video. It's interesting to hear a centrist's view on the woke as a counterbalance to the right-wing view, and for this reason, even if one disagrees with some of his points, it could be worth watching for English viewers. I, Hypocrite. LP is a Canadian working-class guy who shares his views and commentary on cultural and societal trends, including, of course, wokeism. He posts a mix of live streams and single-topic videos, where he successfully merges his colloquial style with an analytical approach, resulting in content that is both accessible and interesting. LP is unafraid to push the envelope and explore what some might consider uncomfortable topics, and handle them for the most part tactfully. If you appreciate unpolished and down-to-earth, but still rational social commentary, this one is for you. Ryan Chapman bills himself as a thinker of general human concerns. If I had to describe Ryan using individual words, they would be impartial, fair, accurate, and straightforward. He discusses interesting and often divisive subjects, minus the political correctness and exaggeration, and tries as much as is humanly possible to stay true to the facts. He also does a good job of not revealing his political views in his videos. I think Ryan is a good example of what the news and media could be if they weren't so inclined to bias, propaganda and profit-seeking. Worth checking him out. Joel Davis explores philosophy, ideology and politics from a traditional and nationalist perspective, recognising that one of the great battles of today is nationalism versus globalism, the latter represented by the woke and liberal elite. He's a very switched-on guy, always uses reason and logic to argue his points, and is uncompromising in his values and views. For thought-provoking commentary that pulls no punches, check him out. Professor Edward Dutton, the Jolly Heretic. Professor Dutton delivers insightful monologues about Western culture, psychology, and broader civilizational trends. He is intelligent, nuanced, and knows his subject well, and you will often gain new insights by listening to him speak. He's also a very unique character. He starts his videos with a comedy skit, always in costume, where he encapsulates the essence of his forthcoming monologue, which he then proceeds to deliver passionately and logically. Finally, he's unafraid to challenge the status quo, and whether you agree with him or not on some of the things he says, you'll still get something out of his videos. Thomas Sowell TV. There's a lot I could say about Thomas Sowell, but I'm going to keep this one brief. He's a legend, a brilliant man, perhaps the GOAT. This channel is not run by him, but by some fans of his. It contains excerpts from his interviews, books, and speeches. If you don't know who Thomas Sowell is, search for him on Amazon and buy one of his books. Or if you do know who he is and haven't read his books, then do so. Moon produces documentary-style commentaries on politics, society, and culture. His videos have slick editing and unfold at a fast and engaging pace. Moon is a contrarian. He often presents a new and distinct perspective on a subject and goes deep on it, which reveals a level of insight unique for someone his age. He sounds like he's in his early 20s. It's also clear from his videos that he's firmly anti-woke and anti-censorship. All in all, a very interesting creator and channel, and worth checking out. Aydin Paladin produces voiceover-led videos, which you could classify as documentaries due to their 1 hour plus running times. Her videos are always well produced and sharply edited. In them, she goes deep on subjects like politics, culture, media, psychology, and more. Aydin is a very unique creator, and it's hard to pigeonhole her in any one ideological camp. I think she's someone who is willing to go where the facts will take her. In other words, a truth seeker. This is reflected in her content, which is illuminating, intelligent, and unhindered by political correctness. Check her out. Gad Saad is a professor, evolutionary behavioural scientist, and author from Canada. He is also a freedom fighter pushing back on what he calls the infectious ideas, aka wokeism and political correctness, that are killing common sense. His videos include interviews as well as monologues on topics relating to science, politics, culture, etc. Gad has a very calm, soft-spoken, and professorly demeanour. He will suit those who appreciate a sophisticated and toned-down style of content. Misha Petrov. This is a new channel that shows a lot of potential. Misha left her university due to the woke indoctrination and extremism prevalent there, and decided to don her combat boots to fight the culture war. On her channel, she shares her thoughts on politics and culture, and her tagline sums it up best: speak the truth. It's great to see people Misha's age standing up for reason and common sense, and doing so in an intelligent and informed way. Check her out. So there you have it, a further 70 channels to check out. And if you've not yet watched my first video, there are 62 channels there, making it 132 in total. Happy viewing.